Welcome to Shots with Katherine. Jonathan, thank you so much for being here. Could you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your work and your journey so far as a cinematographer?
Yeah, my name is Jonathan Jones, and let's see, I am currently a Midwest-based DP, and I've been really bouncing around. I grew up on the East Coast, went to school in the Midwest, went out to LA, actually twice. I went out to LA for school, and then I went out there to work for a number of years, and now I'm back in the Midwest. And so just gotten to work in a lot of different capacities. I wasn't always like kind of the artsy, you know, kind of eccentric personality. And so I never really felt at home with that crowd. Um, and then at the same time, though, I wasn't all technical either. I kind of felt like I was in the middle. And I discovered that cinematography is like you learn these rules and you can get very, very technical with, sensor bit depth resolution, whatever. But you use those tools to do an artistic thing. And it's like, I just connected with it. Like, okay, so there's both. I can learn the rules, I can learn the formats and the structure, and then use that into creating something very artistic, very, impactful. I think I've done probably over a dozen short films, starting to get into commercial world, and I really like it. And that's actually where I'm focusing on now. Recently, before we all kind of got quarantined, I got to do a really cool commercial job back in late winter. It was a big furniture commercial. It was a top 50 furniture retailer in the United States, and they had locations in like 9 states throughout the Midwest, and I got to shoot some content for them. So it was really fun.
So you mentioned that you've shot a lot of narrative and now you're starting to shoot a lot of commercial. Could you talk a little bit about what some of the differences are and how the approach to telling the story for each differs for you?
Commercial, for the most part, is a lot more high key. Um, a lot of my work has been like, it's fun to explore kind of that dark, moody, low light or single light source scenes, but oftentimes that's not really the case in commercial because you have to showcase the product, and so you need to see the product. Creatively too, I'm finding, a lot of times the agency already has kind of the creative and a lot of times the look like already hammered out. So uh, it takes some of the work away from the cinematographer, but not in like a bad way. It's just kind of a different way of working.
Can you expand on that? What's it like to shoot a commercial from start to finish?
Yeah, so well, I'll tell about my most recent experience, which was probably it's not standard. I know like people who are working on higher level stuff, there is a much more strict, I think, protocol to follow. This one, I had a friend at the agency. We were talking about getting some content for one of our clients, and the more we talked, it was like, oh no, like this is a client that has the budget to do the standard way of going through the production company. And so I knew of a good production company here in town, brought it to them, and it really ballooned into something so much bigger. I thought it was going to be a much more simple product shoot, and it really turned into this entire content library that they needed shot with a budget that was way bigger than I had originally expected. And then the other unexpected thing was that I was good friends with the production company, and then also with this my friend at the agency. And so I was the glue that was kind of bringing everyone together. And then the production company said to me, like, well, yeah, you DP, who's directing? And I had kind of the light bulb go off above my head, and I was like, I'm directing. And I just was like, yeah, I want to do that. I want to direct this piece. And so I operated as the DP and the director, and it was a lot of work. It was a lot of just pressure feeling that weight, but also it was really thrilling and I really liked it. We were shooting to sell mattresses, and so we had four 4 to 8 vignettes, and so very simple, just like a quick essence of narrative. For example, one of the vignettes was a mom comes in, she's spreading the sheets over the mattress, and her 2 kids are playing underneath the mattress. And so we had a shot, the kids are like hiding and looking up, mom doesn't know that we're there, and then we cut to the wide, and then they all run out of the bed and they jump up and they start jumping on the bed while the mom is like doing the sheets, and then she plays with them. So not exactly a narrative arc, but there's a little bit of story there. And that was a situation the producer actually told me, because I came to the table with all these ideas. He's like, they're too detailed, there's too much story, you really have to dial it back. This content is such a quick thing, it just has to be like a little essence and then you're done. Had this been branded content, the story would have been a much bigger play. It would have had a much more bigger role than what that last project was.
Basically, you had to pack a lot of story and a lot of emotion into a very tight time frame.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a challenge, but a fun challenge.
Yeah, I had to intentionally I had to subtract so much from all of my ideas, vignettes of like, oh well, what if like the mom comes into the room with a basket of laundry and then she like sets it down. It's like, nope, already too much. We had to start these vignettes literally within the climax of their action. So like we had to start it right as the kids jumped out on the bed. And that was all we got to shoot, because they're very brief little snippets. This wasn't like a 30-second commercial. This was actually more of a content library that was going to get cut down to probably 15 seconds a pop per vignette.
And can you expand a bit on your narrative work? You mentioned that you've shot a lot of short films. What sort of short films?
Yeah, I've actually been going back and watching more film noirs during quarantine. I'm just like, oh yeah, this is such a fun genre. But yeah, I got to shoot a film noir. That was really fun. I got to shoot a sci-fi that wasn't super high concept in terms of production design, because budgets. But I mean, we did get to shoot in like the Trona Pinnacles, so like the sets and the scenes we were shooting in were really awesome. So we did sci-fi, we did film noir, I did like human drama. The last one I shot was it was like a Korean American woman, and it was about her relationship with her mother and rediscovering herself. So that was really rewarding too. I haven't really stuck with one. I've been kind of doing anything that I can, because it's fun to explore and to get into new stuff. I mean, I was looking at your reels and it looks like you've done the same, where it's like, yeah, I'll explore this, or I'll try this style of music video, or you saying yes, it really is beneficial.
Yeah, I've done a little bit of everything, and I think that's awesome. If you get the chance to do a little bit of everything, it's a lot of fun to be able to explore different genres, but then put my own personal style on each of those genres.
And I've wrestled with that, because I don't necessarily, I know the negatives of like, well, I don't want to do that and I don't want to do that, but I can't really verbalize like, this is my style, I do this. But I was just speaking with our mutual friend Rob today, and I had showed him some footage that I had shot for a project I'm working on. And he goes, oh yeah, it looks like you shot this. And I was like, oh, well, thank you. I don't know what that means. I mean, I don't know how to verbalize it, but I was like, thank you.
You got style.
Yeah.
I mean, I totally agree. I feel like it really is hard to pin down style, especially your own. And another thing that's super important when it comes to being a DP is being adaptable. And like you mentioned before, not limiting yourself to one genre, doing a little bit of everything, and having a style that is adaptable to different genres.
Yeah, that's good if you can do that. Absolutely.